It is Tuesday, September 17th. I'd like to call the meeting of the Cuyahoga County Human Resources Appointments and Equity Committee to order. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
As a reminder to all in attendance, this meeting is being recorded and live streamed on the county's YouTube page. Calling the roll, Ms. Turner.
Present.
Mr. Gallagher.
Here.
Mr. Miller.
Present.
Ms. Conwell.
Present.
Mr. Sweeney.
Present.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. Is there any public comment?
Yes, Madam Chair, we have public comment. Alwyn Reed.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are y'all doing today?
Well,
All right. I'm here basically because of
Mr. Reed, if you could state your name for the record, please.
so sorry, Alan Reed, Local 27 Vice President. I'm here this morning to speak on behalf of Local 27, which is OCSS, Office of Child Support Services Union, and union members. It's basically I'm speaking on behalf of the county's policy of trying to change the work from home schedule. I've been here before, third time coming back. Just came back with some more numbers for you guys. Just want to let you know, living wage, and this is coming from the Labor Market Informational Report by Kevin Wade, which is a member of Cuyahoga County himself. Living wage for two parents working and 2 children is $25.16. I'm not even close to that. I'm at $25.04. All right, childcare. We talked about childcare and how adding on an extra day in office is going to affect most of our workers who have kids. So just want to give you another statistics here. This is 2 adults, both of them working. And once again, this is from the same report that was dropped in July. Childcare, 1 kid, both adults working, that's roughly $12,175 a year. 2 kids, both adults working, $22,966 a year. Okay, and we all, as I expressed before, when you go from 2 days to 3 days, most child care places charge you a week at that time. So now you're paying a week for your kid being in child care for only 3 days. So these are the rates that we're going to come across in this situation. All we're asking for is for us to allow, for the county to allow us to work on something with our own management to come up with what we basically have and keep it installed. We like what we have. It's very conducive to all of us. We're able to do a lot of different things in our lives and being there for our kids and allowing us the opportunity and flexibility to be there. This was a gift, even though the pandemic was a curse, because this started out of the pandemic. But thank you. Is that my time?
yes.
Okay, so.
Thank you.
No problem, thank you.
Catherine Randall.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Catherine Randall. I am the union steward for Local 27 AFSCME. I'm just going to piggyback on what Mr. Reed has stated. I did not choose to work from home. I asked questions regarding it, and I never really got a complete answer as far as how much internet speed was needed. So I said, I will just continue to come into the office. If you change from the 3 days to the 2 days, that means that more people are going to be coming into the office. Let's face it, COVID is not over with yet. Cold and flu season is coming. I would prefer for people to be home 3 days a week, because in that way, I can make sure that I can stay healthy, and it's a little quieter too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Rachel Reeves.
Good morning, Council. My name is Rachel Reeves. I am a Cuyahoga County employee, work for Cuyahoga Jobs and Family Services, and in the aspect, I'm also a member and vice president of AFSCME 1746, and we employ under our union to at least 1,200 members. I just noticed that the county council meeting and the finance and budget committee meeting, and noticed how the county actually went to the community to ask them about their financings based on their housing and their financials. But the county did not come to the employees when they started to work on this policy to bring people back and forth into the building, 3 days, 2 days, whatever it is. We used to have forums with the county directors and things of that nature to get our opinions and get some opportunities for us to share. We haven't had those type of forums since Tom Pristoff was here. And my understanding that we're doing this policy is to have a more presence in the building. To my understanding, the presence was lost when the county actually closed all the neighborhood family services center. To hit some points, our productivity and our efficiency has been significantly increased since we've been on our remote status policy that we've been on. We realized, and I hope you guys realize, how much the substantial cost of saving on space, utilities, and think about ours, commuting expense. It's hard to put something in 2 minutes, but I just would like to leave with the Cuyahoga County processes 4,000 new applications and 3,000 SNAP application renewals in a monthly time. 416 workers. Think about that. Thank you.
And Madam Chair, that concludes our public comment.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I will make a motion to approve the minutes from the July 23rd meeting. Can I have a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Please call the first item, Madam Clerk.
Resolution 2024-0319, adopting various changes to the Cuyahoga County non-bargaining classification plan.
Morning.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the committee. I am Albert Bouchahine, Manager of Classification and Compensation for the Personnel Review Commission. Before you for your consideration are modifications to the county's non-bargaining classification plan. Changes in departments' operational needs and routine maintenance necessitate the update of 5 classifications. 2 of the classifications being revised are part of the PRC's routine maintenance process, and 3 were requested by their respective departments and human resources. Although 3 of the classifications will see a pay grade increase, there should not be a fiscal impact as a result of these changes, as the incumbents' salaries currently fall within the proposed new pay grades. All the modifications before you were prepared by the PRC class and comp staff, who has worked extensively with the Department of Human Resources and county management teams to ensure that they're fully informed of these changes. In accordance with PRC rules, the proposed changes were posted on the PRC's website prior to your consideration today and were approved at the PRC August 7th, 2024 meeting. Madam Chair, I am requesting a second reading suspension of rules as there has been some delays in this process and the county is anxious to recruit for the redesigned Manager of Security and Research. I thank you for your consideration, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay. Can you tell us, you may have just mentioned it, but the financial impact of the pay grade changes associated with the class plan changes?
Madam Chair, all the incumbents' salaries currently fall within the new proposed pay grades, so there will be no impact as a result of what you do today. If HR wants to give employees pay raises, again, they have their own process for that, but as a result of what we're presenting to you today, there is no fiscal impact.
Thank you. Open it up for questions to my colleagues.
Madam Chair,
Councilman Miller.
I'll move that we favorably recommend Resolution 2024-0319 with recommendation for second reading suspension.
Okay, it's been moved. There a
Second.
second? It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Resolution 2024-0327, confirming the county executive's reappointment of Sheila Wright to serve on the Cuyahoga County Citizens Advisory Council on Equity for the term July 15th, 2024 through July 14th, 2027.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Christopher Alvarado on behalf of County Executive Chris Ronayne, pursuant to Section 208.01 of the Cuyahoga County Code. I'm here to recommend the reappointment of Ms. Sheila Wright to the Cuyahoga County Citizens Advisory Council on Equity for the term July 15th, 2024 to July 14th, 2027. We are requesting a second reading suspension.
Okay, thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Good morning to the committee. My name is Sheila Wright, and thank you for having me this morning and for the confidence to be here to be considered for reappointment for this important effort and initiative. So I guess to talk about why I would like to be reconsidered. I got involved initially at a time when I think our city and our county had declared racism a public health issue. And there was a lot going on in our community, in our country, and it seemed like an opportunity to sit in and lean in on what our county was doing. A lot of people talk about what happens at the very local level, but to really be able to leverage the county, its resources and its strength to move the agenda of equity forward. That was my initial reason for getting involved. The reason I would like an opportunity to serve again is really with a lot of the new energy that I see the leadership, again, before me, also with the new administration, new leadership in terms of our chair. There is so much, a lot of blood and energy and life that is coming to this, so I would love an opportunity to lean in a little more. When I did it before, I had a lot more commitments in terms of my civic responsibilities, but I've stepped down on a few boards, and so I can give this the attention that it deserves,
Thank you.
if I'm deemed so fit.
Ms. Wright, what would you consider the greatest successes of this commission since you began serving, and what could be some of the greatest challenges?
I would say one of the greatest successes is a report that we put out. Various committees with the various committees work to create a report, working with different departments within the county, different stakeholders, whether it was healthcare, workforce development. So that report, I think, was an incredible milestone, if you will, because it gave voice and recommendations on how to move forward to achieve racial equity. I think some of the challenges with respect to this is just a challenge that we see systemically over why, in terms of throughout these systems, these institutional systems, just trying to combat racism, trying to achieve racial equity within a structured space, right? So we do have voice, we can make recommendations, but we still have to adhere to the regulations with respect to the county, the regulations in which we operate in as a community. And so I would just say the challenges are familiar but not surprising, and are just really an example of a larger systemic issue. Those are the challenges that I see, which should not discourage us from trying to achieve our goals for this. So,
Open it up for questions. Councilman Sweeney.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. Just want to say thank you. You're doing it for the right reason because you care. You're humble as can be.
thank you.
But you have the strong, independent personality that's going to do very well and continue doing very well. So I just want to say thank you and keep up the good work. And more people we have like you, the better we're going to be. So thank you.
Councilman.
Madam Chair.
Councilman.
I just want to comment that I think one of Cuyahoga County's strength is that we take equity, inclusion, and diversion serious, and diversity seriously, and that we've been working on it fairly consistently over years, and we've made progress, and we also still have a ways to go, but we believe in the end goal, and there's other places around the country where that just isn't the case, and it's just very important that we just keep on keeping on, and I appreciate your efforts and your leadership, and it's kind of a slog. It doesn't happen overnight, but we're making progress, and with your help, we can make more, and we will.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I agree with Councilman Miller. It's, I'm often asked by people how I like working for the county. And of course, I can talk about all the amazing things that we have going on, but there are some dark things. And in this space, this is something that we have to continue to challenge within our county and our nation. Helen Keller, an amazing American who was sight impaired, had the vision to know that alone we can do so little, but together we can do so much. So we're all looking forward to the work that's going to be coming out of your commission. Looking forward to dropping into some meetings this year, and keep in touch with us. Let us know if there's anything we can do to support your work.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
You are welcome. If there are no further questions for Ms. Wright, I will make the motion to move this item to the full body of the council for second reading approval under suspension of the rules. May I have a second? Second. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you for your service.
Thank you all very much. Thank you, Chris, for your support.
Resolution 2024-0328, confirming the county executive's reappointment of Stephen Kavanagh to serve on the Cuyahoga County Citizens Advisory Council on Equity for the term July 15th, 2024 through July 14th, 2027.
Thank you. On behalf of the county executive and pursuant to section 208.01 of the Cuyahoga County Code, I'm here to recommend the reappointment of Stephen Kavanagh to the Cuyahoga County Citizens Advisory Council on Equity. We are requesting a second reading suspension. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chair, rest of council. My name is Stephen Kavanagh. I think technically this is my I would be serving my third term. The first year was a full term just for staggering reasons. So I stand before you to be considered for reappointment on this committee. Really, I think, anxious about sort of what's to come, and I guess getting refocused on the effort of equity and inclusion in Cuyahoga County. I serve as the co-chair of the Economic Development Subcommittee. I have, I think, really been focused on in my career, whether it be my day-to-day job or through boards, on driving equity, whether that's through workforce or business ownership or home ownership. So this is very close to me. I think going into this work, there was a lot of pressure that I think most of us who are involved in this feel that we need to make change overnight. And as much as everyone wants change overnight, we recognize that that's not possible. And so moving forward, as we sort of reorganize, I think refocus, sharpen our pencils, I think that we can really be focused on certain things and have certain goals. And so one of those, I believe, is really serving as an advisory and a sounding board for the central campus that is being built. And so I think that's going to be very impactful on the community. It can be impactful in a good way, though, right? And so, I think we are some of the voices that I think need to be heard in that process, but I think a big piece of the voices that need to be heard. So really excited. I guess I'll open it up to questions.
Okay, any questions for Mr. Kavanagh? Councilman Miller, then Sweeney.
Madam Chair, Mr. Kavanagh, thank you very much for your service and your involvement and interest in this very important work. And my question is whether your anxiety about what's to come relates to things going on in Cuyahoga County, or does it relate to things going on in the wider world?
I think we've been talking about this for quite a while. I think that people are just fed up with racism, bias, and they want not just an equal chance, they want a chance that recognizes that there have been these injustices over the past centuries. And so, again, it's not just leveling the playing field. We also have to recognize the injustices that were done, centuries ago and still happen. So, I just think that anxiousness is that, we want to do so much so fast, but we also want to be very focused and strategic and direct about what should come first, right? What do we as a county believe we should be addressing first in this long list of items that should be addressed if we want to actually achieve true equity across this county?
So, Madam Chair, Mr. Cavanis, what do you think would be the one or two first items on your list to address?
Well, one of the things about 4 years ago, we had different meetings with, folks in leadership and administration. There's turnover all the time. But one of my first meetings was with someone at the time who was leading, human resources. And, one of the questions I asked was, if you look at your employee handbook, like, is there a values page? There is no values page. Like, when I go to an employer, there's different values, integrity, innovation, things like that, accountability. If that exists, it didn't exist at the time. But, we as a county should have values, and we should be outspoken about those values, whether it's administration, council, residents. This is what we believe in as a county, and let's move forward believing in those values.
Thank you.
Councilman Sweeney.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Mr. Stephen Cavanis, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Good. Thank you. I mean, we've known each other a while, so it's nice to see you in this, interact with you in this capacity. Just the whole DEI stuff, right? It was riding a wave, everybody's getting on, then it just stopped, and now it's backpedaling pretty heavy. So that's going to fall in that sphere, but I don't think the county's backpedaling. How are you going to balance and kind of on Dale's question through the chair, it's the global world seems to put a halt to the momentum that was going pretty good for a minute.
We have to focus on the North Star for us. I also, though, think that, the folks who have lost the energy or don't believe in the work, I think we need those voices too. We can have champions that we just know are the regular champions, but we also need, I don't want to say opposition, but folks that either oppose it and will never agree with it, or oppose it because they're unsure about what it is and how we get there, right? And if we can get those folks, bring them along, and have them eventually buy into this, I think we can be successful here.
And through the chair, so basically, the momentum's going to continue from the advisory committee and
I think there's
from one
I think there's greater momentum
because
now.
of that.
I think part of the challenge, and I think other members of the committee agree with this, is that we're trying to boil the ocean, right? I think now we are trying to create certain focus areas and determine what certain projects could be that we could focus on. Part of that process will be going out to the community and hearing their voice and figuring out how their experiences and how they've interacted across the county, whether that's through the administration, certain departments of the county, or just interacting in public day to day, what they see going out to the grocery store or just a restaurant or things like that. There's certain, or in their school districts. And I know that the county doesn't, oversee school districts, but the county has a lot of influence. And so how can we use that influence to, have a voice when there's inequity in our schools and curriculum and access to certain things, after school activities and things like that, other resources. So there's direct power, but then there's also influence that I would encourage you as council members and also the administration to leverage.
And through the chair, I mean, that's just kind of a little light bulb went on in my head with that one.
Yeah.
You guys do some good work,
Thank you.
or very good work, I should say. It's only as good as is executed when you share your thoughts. How is the response for the last 2 years, or even with the previous administration?
Yeah, I mean, I think that because we're in a new administration, there was some lag, to be honest, because we were trying to reorganize. There were some members that, resigned, and so I think we are a full body now. I've talked to Chairwoman here about, deeper engagement. She's already been engaged, but how can we partner more in this work? And so hopefully, with more engagement by council and, some new voices at the table, I think we can start taking some action that's meaningful.
And thank you. And the power of the council, just by stature, and the county, please let us know how we can help and use that, because I may not see it. You can say, hey, Sweeney, this is where you can help trigger
I'll certainly do
this
that.
kind of thing. Thank you, Madam Chairwoman.
Thank you, Councilman.
Thank you. Other questions? Mr. Cavanagh, you're somewhere in between young and not old. What that is, but I want to thank you. I want to thank you for your commitment to challenging systems over your career and developing solutions. I hear about that anxiety all the time. I think we heard some of that anxiety this morning from some of our employees, and was wondering, had this body addressed or looked at the issue of the work from home policy?
That has not crossed our desk at all.
Okay, I was just wondering. Yeah. Any other questions for Mr. Cavanagh? Okay, seeing none, I will make a motion to move this item to the full body of council for second reading approval under suspension of the rules. Can I have a second? It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Resolution 2024-0329, confirming the county executive's appointment of Dr. Ronnie Dunn to serve on the Cuyahoga County Public Defender Commission for the term January 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2027.
Good morning, Madam Chair, and to the committee.
I'm sorry. My apologies. I'm going to jump right in. Thank you. On behalf of the county executive and pursuant to section 120.13 of the Ohio Revised Code, we are here to recommend the appointment of Dr. Ronnie Dunn to the Cuyahoga County Public Defender Commission, and we are requesting a second reading suspension. My apologies, Doctor.
No worries. I'm a little anxious here to get going, I guess. Good morning to Madam and to the committee. As stated, I'm Dr. Ronnie Dunn. I'm honored to be here this morning to be considered for appointment to the Cuyahoga County Public Defenders Commission. I'm a professor of urban studies at Cleveland State University, where I focused on issues pertaining to racial and social justice and diversity, equity, and inclusion throughout my more than 20-year career at CSU, both internally in the university as a faculty member and administrator, as well as in the broader community. My considerable research in the area of racial justice and social equity has had considerable public policy implications, particularly in the area of policing and community police relations. Some of that impact includes serving on the statewide task force on policing appointed under Governor Kasich, as well as currently serving on the Ohio Collaborative Community Police Advisory Board, which I've been reappointed now, I think 4 or 5 times, I'm losing count, but we've been doing that work since 2015. And also currently serving as a member of the Cleveland Police Monitoring Team, overseeing the implementation of the consent decree with the U.S. Department of Justice. I think that my considerable and extensive work in the area of racial equity, particularly within the criminal justice system, clearly aligns with the mission of the Commission, and I'm eager to contribute my skills and time to serving on the Commission and advancing justice and equity for our community members most in need.
Or Dr. Dunn?
Do I have?
Councilman Sweeney and then Conwell.
Defer.
Okay.
Oh, thank you. Through the chair to Mr. Dunn, just more of a question in regards to, aren't you responsible for Policy Bridge?
No, I'm not.
No, you're not?
No,
Okay.
no, Councilwoman.
Okay,
I'm
okay.
Councilman.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Dr. Ronnie Dunn, how are you?
I'm well, and yourself, Councilman?
Good. I don't think what she said about the previous presenter goes for you as well. You're not in between young and old.
I'm the old.
You're old. We have had the privilege of knowing for a very long time. We played basketball, and the CMHA when Frank asked you to serve there. I mean, you're just a guy that just cares and keeps giving back. But the subject matter expertise is something that is so valuable to all the committees or the commissions or committees you sit on. What does the Public Defenders Commission do? I don't really have a full handle. I know with the Advisory Commission and all this, but.
Well, thank you for that question and your comments, Councilman Sweeney. To my understanding, the Public Defenders Commission oversees providing the public defender with the necessary resources and staffing to ensure that we are able to adequately provide quality legal representation to the most in need and underserved segments of our community.
And thank you. Is that accurate? I mean, it's like a board of directors?
Yes, sir. They do provide that oversight as well as make recommendations with regard to the budget. There also are times in which if there are staffing issues that have to do, say, with the public defender, they provide that kind of oversight as well, very similar to a board of directors.
Oh, our public defenders does a wonderful job, but having a team that gives added guidance and enlightenment is just even more comfortable to be able to know it's running well. So I have no problem with you. You're my friend and you do a great job. So thanks for keep it going.
Thank you, Councilman.
Dr. Dunn.
Yes.
So, I think I know you just explained very well why you're interested in serving on this commission. I have a very specific question about our last budgetary cycle. The county executive made a recommendation regarding the public defender's budget allocation. Do you have a level of awareness regarding the ask to remove funds from juvenile court's budget? And do you have any thoughts or concerns regarding council's reluctance to reallocate dollars from one necessary program to another?
Madam Chair, with all due respect, that is an issue that I have not had the opportunity to delve into in depth to the point where I would feel comfortable giving an opinion or a comment on at this time.
Okay. Councilman Gallagher.
Hi, Doctor.
Yes.
So you're saying you had no knowledge of this whatsoever?
I've heard about it in the
You weren't
news
consulted?
as others have, but I have not, as I said, had a chance to really delve into it in any substantive manner.
Because that really created a upheaval in the world in which we live. And I think it was a little bit glossed over. And as you're somewhat of an expert in your field, I've been in the system now 46 years. I was with the courts for 30 years. And the one thing that you don't do is you don't stab the courts in the back. And that's exactly what happened.
Okay.
And that was initiated through a group that I know you have familiarity with. And the public defender, and I think blindly, the administration walked into that, and it blew up, and it was ugly. And it remains to be a real bad stain on how we do business here. So my hope would be that if you get over there, that is not forgotten.
Okay, well, Councilman, with all due respect, once again, as I said, this is an issue that I am not fully aware of, and you said there was a group involved that you know that I'm.
Greater Cleveland Congregation.
Well, I'm a church member at
Right.
Olivet, so in that sense, yes.
Right,
but-
and they can advocate, that's not a problem. I mean, that was their mission, and their mission turned into a kerfluffle of sorts.
Okay.
That was a stain that remains today, and it was initiated through the public defender himself. So I have a cocked eye when it comes to him. So I rely on the board to, be that overseer that we expect. And it's important that you be the overseer and not be run over by any individual over there. So my hope is, in looking at your background, I would suggest that you're probably a good fit for that. And I would hope that you would continue that and to be independent in your review of what goes on in the public defender's office.
Well, Councilman, once again, as a member of the commission, I would look forward to providing oversight of the public defender's office and the public defender himself. This is a matter I will obviously delve more deeply into and familiarize myself with all of the intricacies and the involved parties, and I will give it my due diligence and look to make I've always been an independent voice. Those that know my work throughout the years, I think, will attest to that. So I'm not easily intimidated or bullied by political powers or anything else. So.
That's good. That's good to hear. It's just that, we don't like our doorstep darkened by such things. We like to get along. Our partners in the justice system are just that, our partners, and we try to provide as best we can, and we have, and we hope to continue to do that. So my wish is that you have a good stay over there.
Okay. Well, thank you, Councilman.
Madam Chair.
Councilman Miller.
I don't want to relitigate what was a long and contentious discussion. But I just want to make you aware that the viewpoint just expressed by my colleague is not universally shared on the council, and that there's some of us that feel that that an open and robust discussion of the kind of issues that we discussed last fall during the budget hearings is not a bad thing. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Councilman.
I don't want to play rebuttal here. This is your time, but the unfortunate occurrence, there were members of this council that knew what were going on, and they got caught. And I'm not happy when that ever happens.
Okay. Please add Councilman Sweeney's name to this legislation. What I would like to ensure is that our at-risk youth are receiving the counsel that they need to move through the process properly. And I'm glad that everyone is talking about it and you're now aware of it. And as you go about your job of oversight, that you might remember this if it comes up, and
Yes.
make sure that we're
absolutely.
doing the right thing by our youth. as
Yes,
they're moving through
I
the
will,
process.
Councilwoman.
Okay. Right. Well, if there are no further questions for the good doctor, I will make the motion to move this item to the full body of the council for second reading approval under suspension of the rules. May I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Resolution 2024-0330, confirming the county executive's appointment of Darlene Wade to serve on the Western Reserve Area Agency on Aging 5-County Advisory Council for the term January 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2026.
Good morning.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Madam Chair, on behalf of the County Executive and pursuant to Section 173.03 of the Ohio Revised Code, I'm here to recommend the appointment of Ms. Darlene Wade to the Western Reserve Area Agency on Aging 5-County Advisory Council. We are requesting a second reading suspension.
Good morning again.
Good morning, Madam Chair, council members. My name is Darlene Wade. I'm truly honored to be here. I am thankful and grateful to even be considered for this role. I'm a licensed independent social worker, having been in the social worker field for almost 30 years. I actually started out at child welfare, doing the service there. And for the past 21 years, I've been at DSAS, Division of Senior and Adult Services, and I'm there right now, currently serving as the Deputy Administrator over our clinical services, which is the Options Program for Independent Living and our Home Care Skilled Services. And I started out at DSAS as a social worker doing case management for seniors in our community. And then I went to be a supervisor in the Options Program, and now, as I said, I'm serving as the Deputy Administrator over options and home support. And I have a passion and a compassion for serving the elderly. What we do at DSAS and our particular program where I serve as deputy is we provide in-home services such as homemaking, personal care. We provide transportation. We provide home-delivered meals. We do grab bars and chore services. And in our home care skilled services, we provide personal care and homemaking with our nurses and our family service aides. And as I have worked in this field for so many years, I see the challenges that we face in terms of serving our seniors and our disabled community. And I love operating in this capacity because what we do is we make sure that our seniors can remain in their home and remain in their homes independently. And the challenges that we face, as many of you know, is family service aides. We're limited in family service aides across the nation. Something happened during the pandemic. I don't know exactly what, but ever since then, we've really been struggling to obtain family service aides, some nurses as well, but not so much lately. So I'm just looking forward to serving and collaborating with Western Reserve Area Agency on Aging, who seem to have the same mission and vision that we have, that our citizens are elderly, are disabled, are safe, and we're providing services and resources and solutions for them.
Thank you. Do you have any questions for Ms. Wade? You really answered my questions in your introduction, but you brought up family service aides, because I was going to ask you about some of the challenges facing our residents. What are the duties of a family service aide?
Family service aides, our particular family service aides need to be state-tested nursing assistants, meaning they need to have that certification. They go into the homes and provide personal care, in and out of the shower or feeding our clients. They go to the grocery store, they run and do shopping, things of that nature. They clean the homes up, they provide homemaking. And then our nurses oversee our family service aides. And in terms of struggling with recruiting family service aides, the county, thank God, raised the salary, which has made a tremendous difference. At one point, we weren't getting any family service aides to apply. I mean, we may have got one when we put a posting out. The last posting, I think we had about 13. So that was a tremendous difference. The same thing with our nurses. At one point, we may have gotten one. The last time, I think we got about 12. So things are changing, and there has been a turnaround in terms of recruiting nurses and family service aides.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Ms. Wade? Councilman Gallagher.
I think you're dealing with some of the biggest struggles that we have, and the fact that we've become more of a silver county than anything else. And I've advocated best I can to try and provide more to our seniors, because I think they're the ones that built this county. And we're just sitting here resting on their laurels, and we're forgetting them. Yeah. But information that I've gathered is that we spend $76 per person over 60 in this county, $76. Our friendly counties next to us, we have Cuyahoga County. I got all these statistics. Franklin County spends $178 per capita, and Hamilton's at 120. So we have the largest senior population by far, and we give the least amount of the largest counties in the state of Ohio. And I think that drastically has to improve to at least bring our seniors to the minimum of what other seniors are being treated like in Franklin and Hamilton County. And I've always advocated for a separate senior levy.
Thank you.
Politically, people think that's a little bit dangerous. I think it's a home run. As we struggle up here, we're also one of the poorer counties because of our situation. So it's a very difficult place that we are in, and I thank you for what you do. And hopefully at some point in time we can fix this.
Yes, that would be good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you for all that you do for us and for our seniors. I will make the motion to move this item to the full body of council for second reading approval under suspension of the rules. May I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Ms. Wade.
Resolution 2024-0331, confirming the county executive's appointment of Mary McNamara to serve on the Western Reserve Area Agency on Aging Board of Trustees for the term January 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2026.
Thank you, Madam Chair. On behalf of the County Executive and pursuant to Chapter 173 of the Ohio Revised Code, I'm here to recommend the appointment of Ms. Mary McNamara to the Western Reserve Area Agency on Aging Board of Trustees. We are requesting a second reading suspension.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Once again, Mary McNamara, happy to be here, and I stand before you for consideration for a first-time appointment to the Western Reserve Area Agency Board. Like Ms. Wade, I'm a 30-year social worker, 20 years in the field of aging, and since 2008, I've been employed at the City of Cleveland. I've been the Director of Aging at the City of Cleveland since 2016, appointed by then Mayor Jackson and now Mayor Bibb. My professional and personal commitment is to help individuals age in place, which is where they want to age, and to advocate, protect, and provide service to the most vulnerable of our older adult population. This commitment of mine really aligns with the work of the Western Reserve Area Agency on Aging and what I would call their critical work in our community. And I'm really just eager to lift up the voices of Cleveland seniors on the Area Agency Board. And I thank you for your consideration, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Councilman Sweeney.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. Director, nice seeing you.
Thank you.
Tell me what the agency does. I mean, Western Reserve has a brand, but they do a lot of different things. Tell us about the agency. I know you're the first time you're walking into something that you're somewhat familiar with. So just tell me what they do so I can have a better understanding.
Sure. I often say to people that no matter where you live in the country, whether it's Juneau, Alaska, or Boston, Cleveland, every community is covered by an area agency on aging. So this is a federal funding that comes through our Ohio Department of Aging and our local 5-county area. It's called the Western Reserve Area Agency on Aging. The word aging's in all of our names. It can be so confusing to figure out who does what. But I always describe them as the biggest umbrella in our community with the most resources. And then under that, you hear, senior centers receive funding from them, home and community-based services. The Department of Aging receives services, as does many communities in our county. I know them most as an early social worker. They are the provider of passport services, the services that allow a person who's eligible for nursing home care but wants to remain in their home to remain in their home. That's just a snapshot of what they do, but in my entire career in the field of geriatrics, they've been a partner.
And thank you. Rock star in this field is an understatement. I've had the privilege of working with you and taking your guidance as the time we worked at City Hall together. Ms. Wade is a advisory council. You're a board of trustee. Can you share the difference?
Sure.
We have somebody in the, Madam Chairwoman, we got somebody in the audience wants to say something. Come on up.
Can you step to the podium?
Councilman Sweeney is always stealing my thunder. I was going to bring you up.
I thought this was going to come up. Two different functions.
Excuse me, can you state your name for the record?
My name
please?
is Ellsworth Douglas Beach. I'm the CEO of the Western Reserve Area Agency on Aging. The Older Americans Act requires advocacy council. And the Older Americans Act is how we get our funding, but our 501c3 status requires a board of directors. And so the advisory council is made up of people who are interested in what we do, want to make recommendations to us about what we should do. And they are also, some of them are also eligible for the programs that we serve on a regular basis. So that's the advisory council. Then the board of directors goes ahead and is our management firms essentially, and does the day-to-day. And the connection is that every area agency in the United States, all 650 of them, have an advisory council, but not all of them have boards of directors.
Thank you.
Did that make sense?
It does, but I don't want to steal Mary's. I'm going to keep going with Mary, and he'll come back and we talk about the agency. Or I'm just trying to figure out the trustee's role in regards to the functionality of your...
Yeah, I just wanted to tell you what the difference was. Okay, thank you.
I'm good. This is exciting. Western Reserve does great work. And just understand, thank you for the explanation of the two. And it seems like the trustee is more the day-to-day operations of the Western Reserve, and the advisory committee will advise as things come up. Is that how it works?
Councilman, that's as I understand it.
And through the chair, the balance of your time is, you're stretched thin, but you can pull this off.
To the councilman, I'm committed. The work of area agency is critical, and to be able to provide the experience I have from hearing from Cleveland seniors on that board, I think is worth my time, and I will make it work.
Thank you. Your rewards will be great in heaven. Thank you.
Well, if I could, just a quick question about your thoughts around some of the most significant issues facing our region's aging population.
Madam Chair, thank you. I echo what Councilman Gallagher said, that we are a graying community, and preparing for that age wave is critical. I think the work the county is doing with Livable Cuyahoga County needs to be continued to lift it up. Proud to be part of that effort. In my work, I would say one of the most significant things I see for older adults is the need for home repair services. So Ms. Wade spoke about home and community-based services, who's going in to provide the services in the house, but I'm very concerned about the condition of housing. And if people want to age in place, what kind of supports can we add in to help them do it, whether it's an accessible bathroom, whether it's a wheelchair ramp, whether it's a new roof. The amount of dollars spent on that versus the amount of the cost of a nursing home placement is just so extreme. You know, you could put a new roof on or modify a bathroom for the cost of 2 months in a nursing home. And people want to remain in their home. In a most recent survey of Cleveland seniors, 94% of them told us their plan is to stay in their home, and they don't have another one. And so I see that as a key issue is housing. Affordable housing is that I couldn't talk about the structure without affordable housing is a major concern too.
I would be remiss if I didn't mention that today is National Voter Registration Day. And during my time at the Board of Elections, I facilitated voting for this population, folks in nursing homes and other confined areas. And I was wondering, do you all have any kind of initiatives to work with folks still wanting to participate?
Madam Chair, we work very closely. We just had a training, my team, with the Department of Aging, and I know the entire aging network is concerned about accessibility for people wherever they live, how we can communicate the current rules, what's required, and how we can help get them to the polls. It's a community effort that is current and ongoing.
Okay. Keep us posted on how we can offer support in that area. That's one thing they love to do is still vote.
Yes.
Right? No matter who. Dr. Beach, you brought some other folks with you today. Can you just let us know who's with you since you made the trip? Happy to have you with us. Come, don't shout. Come up. Come up, everybody. Come on, you made the trip. We want to recognize you. The guy in the red tie with you?
Yes, he's our lawyer.
Come on.
He's our lawyer.
Oh, he likes to stay in the background.
June Taylor, sure you all know.
The
June.
incomparable.
Excuse me, can you speak into the microphone, please?
Sure. Good afternoon, Madam Chair and council members. It's nice to see you. June Taylor. I'm the Chief of Strategy and Performance, and many of you know me as my team and Dr. Beach and us all created the Nails It program, and we're grateful for your support and assistance. That program is just working splendidly throughout the county, and there are so many citizens that are grateful for it. So thank you for your support.
And that program is what Mary was talking about, where we're trying to take existing structures and make them livable rather than looking at new structures.
Okay, thank you.
Sue Biajanti. I'm actually a current board member, and I'm due to come up before you in a few minutes about a reappointment to the board.
I am Michelle Petrek. I'm Administrative Services Manager, kind of here for learning experiences as I'm a board liaison.
Thank you. And they travel with the lawyer. Doesn't want to be seen on camera. I understand.
We just changed our bylaws, and we wanted to make sure everything was kosher on that.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you for being with us this morning. Do we have any other questions for Ms. McNamara or anybody in her delegation?
I'm going to show my age, ma'am.
Uh-oh.
The June Taylor dancers.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, if we have no further questions, you make me think of the Nerds Old Mayor Remack. Did you used to get that?
I could sing it right now if you wanted it to, yep. Sort of dressed in black today, a little pink.
I love it. I'll make the motion to move this item to the full body of council for the second reading approval under suspension of the rules. Can I have a second?
Second, please add my name.
Second, and all in favor? Aye. And please add Councilman Sweeney's name.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Resolution 2024-0332, confirming the county executive's reappointment of Sue Bijanti to serve on the Western Reserve Area Agency on Aging Board of Trustees for the term January 1st, 2023 through December 31st, 2025.
Thank you. On behalf of the county executive, pursuant to Chapter 173 of the Ohio Revised Code, I'm here to recommend the reappointment of Sue Biagianti to the Western Reserve Area Agency on Aging Board of Trustees. Madam Chair, we are requesting a second reading suspension. Thank you.
You. Morning.
Good morning. I'm still Sue Biagianti. Thank you for the opportunity to come before you to talk about my interest in serving on another term on the WRAA board. I'm a retired clinical social worker. Throughout my career, I've been involved in working with vulnerable seniors, both in service provision, program development, and volunteer work. My involvement with WRAA actually goes back to the 1970s with the implementation of the Older Americans Act. We were providers, the agency I worked for, of home-delivered meals, one of the very first, in the county. Then with the advent of the Passport program, we continued to be providers of meals, home care, emergency response system services. After my retirement, I was asked to serve on the WRAA board, and in that capacity, I've served as the board secretary, the board treasurer, and the chair of the Community Services Committee. The agency, it's amazing, has grown exponentially over the years, beyond the advent of the Older Americans Act and the Passport program, which of course are still in operation. But it's part of the, currently of the MyCare program, which is made up of managed care organizations, Buckeye, United Healthcare, CareSource. It has an Aging and Disability Resource Center, Ohio Home Care Waivers. It's just been dramatic. The next thing that's coming up, the MyCare program will be replaced by what's called Next Gen in 2026, and this is expanding managed care throughout all of Ohio. So this is a pretty exciting time, and I look forward to seeing how, what the role of WRAA is going to be in this Next Gen program. We're not quite sure, but we're working hard to see that we have a prominent place in it. Okay, are there any questions?
Yeah, I think we talked a lot about the challenges. I was wondering if you could consider some successes.
Well, I think a lot of the other places look to us in Ohio for what we've been able to achieve with the managed care programs. I think it's been very successful the way we have managed to work with these managed care programs. As I mentioned, we're not sure what's going to happen in the Next Gen program. Are these going to be the same managed care organizations that we're currently working with? There's a lot of unknowns at this point. But I think it's also been very successful in developing new programs. We had a U.S. Aging grant where we were able to provide vaccines in the community. I think that was very successful during the pandemic. And also just, we have someone who develops new business opportunities to serve seniors in the community.
Have those vaccine programs ceased, or
I think that grant is just running out now, but we've developed relationships with various pharmacies and other places, so that I think our work can continue with them, but I think that grant is just about run out.
Any questions? Okay, well, thank you for your service, and we look forward to you continuing on with us, and I will make the motion to move this item to the full body of council for second reading approval under suspension of the rules. May I have a second? Been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Ordinance 2024-0008, enacting Section 302.04 of the Cuyahoga County Code, modifying Section 12.09 of the Cuyahoga County Employee Handbook, and providing a new Section 12.10.
Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of committee. I'm Sarah Nemistel on behalf of the Department of Human Resources for the county. Yes, I am the Director of Human Resources.
Oh, she didn't introduce herself.
For those listening at home.
Would you like me to present on the?
Yes.
Okay. So we submitted the proposed remote work policy for first reading at the July 16th council meeting, and we have since submitted a proposed substitute. And I'll go ahead and discuss the terms of the proposed substitute today in terms of my global discussion of the policy.
Director Nemistel, I'm going to ask the chair before you, because we were just provided with this, the proposed substitute, correct? Or have we had these
I
changes
sent the
for
proposed
amendments?
substitute about a week ago, I think.
Apologize, I didn't see it till today.
It's okay. It pretty much mirrors the current version with a couple of changes to the eligibility requirements.
So I was going to ask Madam Chair if, because I'm late for a meeting, if I could ask my questions before she started, at least to get them on record and state my request. So I won't hold the other director up. Is that okay?
Are you amenable to holding your questions? I would like to hold this in committee. I had further questions, and I want to talk with the director and some other folks, if that would be okay with everyone. And I would also like to talk more to our employees, if that would be okay. So I'm going to request to hold this for committee.
Can we talk about it a little bit today since we're here, or not at all? No? Okay.
Yeah, let's hold it.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
All right. Councilman?
Through the chair, or to the chair. Sometimes she's here, we can talk about it, and then when we're done, we can hold it, or we'll just not talk about it at all right now and then start again when you want to. That's just my thought process of sometimes we hear things and then we hold it.
Yeah, I have quite a few questions, and considering recess was crazy, I didn't get a chance to have the conversations that I really wanted to get some questions asked. Councilwoman has to run, so I don't want her to not be a part of the dialogue.
I'm good, but I just want, because our, the presenters that have been coming up a little bit, have them in the room during the discussion. Maybe they'll come back for it.
Okay, but there'll be some other conversations, so, yeah.
I'm all good.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Councilman. All right.
Ordinance 2024-0010, amending Section 303.01C of the Cuyahoga County Code of Codified Ordinances.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of committee. Sarah Nemistel, Director of Department of Human Resources. So back in late 2020, early 2021, I know the law department, myself, and Human Resources met with council staff and reviewed the county's unclassified positions. Thereafter, the PRC conducted an audit of, I believe, 27 of those positions and assessed whether the classified or unclassified service was proper. So Human Resources agreed with the PRC's assessment for several of those positions is not meeting the legal criteria for inclusion in the county's unclassified service. And then as a result, the PRC created 6 new or revised existing classifications. So we have a total of 7 incumbents so far who have been reassigned to one of those new or revised classifications. I know the PRC is also in the process of incorporating a new manager special projects and business operations classification, which was also formerly deemed unclassified. So the County Executive and Department of Human Resources seeks to amend Section 303.0C of the code to address situations where my position reassigns an employee from a formerly deemed unclassified position to the civil service class plan. The legislation seeks to provide my position with authorization to place an employee in pay step X for the newly assigned classification if their current pay exceeds the maximum of the pay grade for the newly assigned classification. That way, the employee can, receive their current salary until the pay grade catches up with their current salary. I presented to the Personnel Review Commission on this legislation at the August 7th, 2024 meeting. On August 15th, the PRC sent a letter to Council President Jones and Chairwoman Turner supporting the legislation. I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
Do you have any questions? Just again, quickly, why was this policy necessary?
We've been in the process of reassigning employees who were in, at one point, deemed unclassified positions. And based on, review conducted by the Personnel Review Commission and agreement on the HR side, we've been reassigning those employees to classified positions. If an employee who is reassigned to a classified position, if their current pay exceeds the pay grade for the newly assigned classification, this allows them to keep their current pay. There's no pay deduction. So they're paid in pay step X outside of the classification until the pay grade eventually catches up with their salary.
Okay. Is there a past practice of applying this type of process to positions prior to the policy being codified?
I believe in some of the bargaining agreements, the term is sometimes called red circling. We've had it. It's also, there is language in the revised code, chapter 124.14, in which the Director of Administrative Services can reassign someone, from an improper classification to a proper classification, and in those situations where their current pay exceeds, they're placed in pay step X.
Councilman Sweeney.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. Director, nice seeing you.
Nice seeing you.
You said there's 7?
So far, we have reassigned 7 incumbents, and of those 7, no one's pay is outside of their pay grade. So we were able to slot them in the pay grade. This is for situations where we can't.
Through the chair, do you anticipate some coming?
Yes, we have 1 employee who we have not reassigned yet, whose pay will be outside of the pay grade. And then as we continue,
The normal 2%?
Yes.
Is this is it a 10-year thing or a 1-year thing?
I don't believe it's a 10-year process.
It's reasonably caught up.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't have the number with me today.
I'm
but
just trying to, because there's a group of classifieds,
Yeah.
non-classified coming in. I don't want to, there could be some fussiness with the rank and the other classifieds. So classified means you're going to take a non-protected individual that doesn't have civil service protection and put them in. Can you tell me why? To give more people protection?
So whether or not a position meets the unclassified service criteria is a legal question, and it requires consideration of a number of legal factors. And so when we, started looking at the unclassified positions several years ago now, we did so with the lens of kind of looking at those positions, looking at the org charts, looking at the job descriptions, talking to employees or the directors and seeing if we had a question of perhaps whether or not they truly met the unclassified criteria. And the PRC then conducted a pretty thorough review. And so we're now, in the process of reassigning the employees who we believe, yes, this really isn't an unclassified position, at least at this point, and, moving them into the class plan. So they will have civil service protection.
And through the chair to the director, that is really cool. You're actually cleaning it up after all the years and years and years of project managers, unclassified. You actually have a system that is seems to be driven by law and classifying them where they're supposed to be, and there should be no.
Well, it's an ongoing discussion. Certainly don't want to take credit for that, but, council was certainly very involved in this, and the Personnel Review Commission as well, and they've conducted the heavy lifting, certainly, with regard to the review. And so I know there's, questions we have to, talk about moving forward, because the statute at play, it doesn't necessarily apply cleanly to county government, to this form of government.
And so there might be some grayness still?
Yeah.
Try to eliminate as much gray as possible. Sometimes, but what you just said there was pretty cool. You're basing on fact instead of wants. So I applaud you, and I'm glad the one you're just trying to save you a step from coming to council. You're trying to add the two things because you know it's coming. So I applaud you.
At the end of the day, the actual duties performed in the job drive the determination. So that's what we got to look at.
Give a shout out to Pat Schmock, your security blanket in the back there.
Certainly.
Good job, Pat. Thank you.
Were there any suggestions made by the PRC during their review of this policy?
No, the PRC in their letter indicated that they supported the proposed ordinance amending section 303.01.
Okay. Alrighty. Are there any further questions for the director? I'll make the motion to move this item to the full body of council for second reading under suspension of the rules. Can I have a second?
Madam Chair,
No.
we'll need this to go for second reading since it's an ordinance.
What'd you say?
This will need a full 3 readings because it's an
Oh, okay.
ordinance.
No, second. I amend my motion. I make the motion to move this item to the full body of council.
Second.
Next reading. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Madam Clerk, does that conclude our business?
That concludes our business.
This meeting is adjourned.